If you're interested in Postmate, you've never done it before, or you've done it and you're totally clueless as to how to go forward, or you want to do it and you want to go forward with it, this is the video for you, because I have gotten a few good tips, great tips I would say, from doing it myself. So stay tuned for the video. Okay, hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Clueless Tech Finds. My name is Johanna. Please don't leave it out subscribing. I am always discovering like clueless stuff about tech. Well, stuff about tech that I'm usually clueless about, and I noticed that sharing it with you guys just really is useful and resourceful. So you really would want to stay connected to my channel, especially if you're a Postmate, or if you're interested in Postmate, or if you want to refer it to someone. I'm actually going to create a playlist just for Postmate videos, because it's definitely something that you would want to get into, especially if your employment options are very limited or you just want something flexible. Okay, so I started doing Postmates because basically for the flexibility, and it's really easy and convenient money, and I've done it, it works. You get paid, and I just got a few just stuff that I want to share with you guys that I know will be of excellent use for you. These are just random stuff. If you're confused about what I'm talking about, you could definitely comment in the description box down below and I'll respond, or other people will respond, because I don't want to make this video too lengthy. If your card isn't working, the best thing to do is to have cash on you at all times. I know that sometimes cash is hard to come by, but see if you could at least reserve at least $50. Maybe not so much, but at least $50 or $40 or even 30 or 20. Sometimes you will go to a restaurant and their card system isn't working, and the customer, when you Postmates, usually has like a section where you could call the person who has put in the order, and well, they're called a customer. So what you could usually do is call the customer, text them, and just tell them, hey, the card system at this restaurant or at this particular business isn't working, what would you like to do? Some of them will want the meal or the item that badly, and they'll tell you, or they'll ask you, don't you have any cash on you? Pay for it, I'll reimburse you. That happened to me twice. The first time I had no money, and the restaurant didn't have an ATM, there wasn't a bank nearby. I just could not, when I said I didn't have any money, I didn't have any cash, so I just could not pay for the item for the customer, and I felt so bad. So the second time it happened to me again, I didn't have enough cash. I usually don't have cash on me. I would be like the worst person to rob, because I usually never have money. So the second time I didn't have any cash, and the estimated amount that the customer had put in on the app was way below what the actual price for the food had cost at the restaurant. And Postmates usually put like limits that you can't spend over, and that customer had asked me to just make the payment and they would reimburse me through the tipping option, because they would tip you. So instead of the customer not tipping me or tipping me what they would usually tip me, the customer tipped me way above what I would usually be tipped. That would be what I paid for the customer. So I actually made up on that bill. It was actually a Chinese restaurant, and I used my card, I made the payment, and everything was good. Sometimes you would get the wrong address. This is kind of unsafe. Sometimes Postmates has like glitches. I could remember this one time I got one address, and I went a lot of hotels in, I live in New York, so a lot of hotels in Manhattan, and I do Postmates in Manhattan. A lot of hotels in not hotels, apartments in Manhattan have like doormen. So I went to the doorman and I told him that I have a delivery for X person. So when I called the person was like, I didn't order anything. And I was like, but your name and number and address came up. And I was so confused. I didn't know what to do. And then the guy was like, okay, come up anyway. To me, that's unsafe, because I'm not saying that that person was a criminal or they would have done me anything, but that person, what if that person was a potential criminal or a criminal and said, okay, this is an opportunity for them to attack me, literally. So I definitely didn't like that. The good thing is that the actual customer saw that I was at the wrong address, and I think she either texted me or called me, and she said, okay, it's across the street. And then I explained to her, you know, that this is like a Postmate thing. Postmate gave me the wrong address, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, and she apologized, and she said, okay, this is where you come instead. So you know, it's always good to pray. I don't know if you're religious, but it's always good to whisper a prayer and just say, Lord, please protect me, because the Holy Spirit had it where she called me just in time. I was just about to go up to this guy because I didn't know what was happening. So she called me just in time, just before I went up to that other person who absolutely had no idea that, or clue as to what was happening either. And she gave me like a $20 tip that day. So yay me. My card, my Postmate card, was declined. I should actually show you the Postmate card. I've been talking a lot about the Postmate card. I'm just going to flash it. I don't want to like reveal the numbers or anything, but it looks like an actual bank card. Let me just hide the credentials here. I'll just show you that it looks like an actual debit or credit card. So I do remember my card being declined once. I don't remember what happened in that situation. I made this list like such a long time ago, but if it actually happens again, I'll definitely tell you. But it's possible that your card will be declined. In that case, again, you can use your card, you could use your cash, and the customer can refund you by giving you the tip in equivalent to what you spend. Okay, so this one is major. I've never heard a Postmate. I've watched several Postmates videos, and I've never heard a Postmate talk about this. What the hell happens when restaurants won't give you a service? Now, let me make this very clear. To my understanding, Postmates isn't, well, not all restaurants or all businesses or all pharmacies and entities actually sign up with Postmates. Right? So what Postmate actually does, I'm not sure what the app looks like. Like, my Postmate app, as a Postmate, I know what that app looks like, but I don't know what the app looks like as a customer. I should download that app to see what it looks like. But apparently, you can place an order with any business, any at all, but that business is not obligated to offer a Postmate their service, which is really messed up. I could remember going to this restaurant and they said, oh, we don't do Postmates, and I'm like, yeah, but I want to place an order for the customer. I'm not inconveniencing you. I'm paying for the order. Yeah, I'm coming because I'm a Postmate at that time and I'm making the payment with my Postmate card. Why can't I get the order? And you know, they were like, Postmates never asked us our permission to put our name on their site, and that's why they don't do Postmates. And I'm like, that restaurant, I don't rate it. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but I got requests to go to that restaurant like 2 or 3 times. The first time when it happened, fine. The second time and the third time, I declined those orders because I knew that they don't take Postmates orders. So it's like this bougie restaurant who do meals done to order, and they don't want you to come and stand in their space waiting on the order. It's just not their thing. They don't want that type of atmosphere or look in their business. So I guess that was just messed up, because it's not like I'm being obstructive. I'm telling them the customer wants it. I even had to call the customer and I explained to the customer what was the issue, and the customer said you know, they're willing to let me just wait for the meal. And then it boiled down to the conclusion where they said that they don't do takeout. You have to eat in, you have to dine in. The only thing that they do takeout on is bagels and some other stuff, because it's like this bougie bagels restaurant. And then they do like, they have like an extended menu, but they're like, okay, you have to dine in to eat. So that was a bummer. So you actually have restaurants that don't do takeout, or you have restaurants that could refuse your business as a Postmate. Deliveries will be slow on many days, and depending on where you go, you have to know the demographic very good. If you don't know your area or the demographic, you could have like extremely slow days. And it's just like Uber. If you've ever taken the Uber before, you would notice that a lot of Uber drivers also do Lyft, and there's another service like Lyft and Uber that I heard of. I don't remember the name, but you could probably do other apps, like you could do Caviar. There's Uber Eats. There's DoorDash. There's so many other delivery apps that you could actually sign up for. So instead, well, the downside to that is that you definitely have to have a bike or a car, or you'd have to just probably lie to them and tell them that you have a bike. And I'm not telling you to lie, because I don't condone lying, and you'd probably have to lie to them and tell them, oh, you have a bike, and then you walk. But Postmate, I should just jump into that then. Postmate is why I love it so much, because I don't have a bike. I don't want to ride a bike. I don't want to do like deliveries on a bike. Like, I would rather walk, because I do walk anyway. It doesn't take much for me to walk into a restaurant or a business place, say, okay, I'm here for this order. Sometimes you have to pay for it with your Postmate card. You collect it, you leave, you hand it to the customer. It's so easy. But biker thing, no, not for me. And I don't have a car just yet, so right now I'm just doing Postmate. So some days are like extremely slow, like some days you'd go out there, and depending on where you are, you'll get nothing. Sometimes you'll get one delivery, and then there are up days where you'll get, depending on how many hours you put in, you'll get a whole lot of deliveries. Also, you have to have time. 1 hour doing Postmates or 3-4 hours is not going to cut it. You have to treat it like an actual 40-hour work week. Don't expect to go out there 2 hours a day and make a month's salary, right? So treat it like a job. Do 8 hours a day if you can. I don't get to do 8 hours a day because right now I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm trying to work on that, where I could organize something to get more hours doing it. The most hours I get out of Postmates per day is like probably 3 to 4 hours, you know. So I would definitely love to do like an 8-hour day every day, and not having to do Sundays. I don't mind doing like Saturday nights, because I really don't do anything with my Saturday nights. My life is like just very basic and boring. I am adventurous. I do go out, but it doesn't happen every weekend. And a lot of Saturday nights I'm at home doing, well, it's not like doing nothing, but I'm at home and I have the time I could get out there. Best time for deliveries, as everyone knows, it's always about lunch, dinner, but that doesn't apply for every day. The best time would be like a Friday. At lunchtime is very busy. In the evening is very busy while I'm doing the whole Sabbath thing, so I don't do Friday nights. Saturdays, I'm not sure about Saturdays because of Sabbath again, but Saturday nights are, to me, the best time to work Postmates. Sunday evenings are also, you can kind of say it's just as good as Saturday nights, but Sunday it's a gamble sometimes depending on where you are. But Saturdays, you're always, especially at night, well, as I said, I don't know what the evening time is like, but I do know that Saturday evenings or Saturday nights are like the best time, or is the best time to do Postmates, or at night in general, even on weekdays. I want to touch back on the whole walking part of Postmates. Depending on the area that you're in, you will have to walk long distances. On average, a delivery, well, a pickup and a delivery would take on average 45 minutes. It could be less, it could be more. Depending on the area that you're in, it could be half hour. Right now, I'm in an area where I really love because distances are literally very short, and a delivery would take me like half hour, which is reasonable because you have to walk like a block or two, or maybe most 5 or 6 blocks, which is not long. You still have to pick up the order. Restaurants usually don't take long in New York. Well, let me not say New York, in Manhattan. Manhattan is very fast paced. Usually when you go to pick up like a meal, especially in Manhattan, in no time meal is ready. A lot of times I go, the meal is already ready. Hardly I would have to wait, and then even if you wait, it's just like literally like a few minutes, like not more than 5 minutes, which is excellent. So after you pick up the meal, you just take it a few blocks to the customer and it's done. Some parts of Manhattan, it's the walk is lengthy. Sometimes the blocks are like, the addresses or the pickup points are like 10 blocks away. You know, it could be very exhausting, but a lot of times the customers tip really good. As I said earlier, I have gotten tips. Well, the most that I've gotten tips was like $20, but most of my tips match the actual cost for delivery, and average cost for a Postmate delivery is $4. It could be more when you have Blitz. I'll talk about that in another video. It's never less than $4. And then when someone tips you, they usually give you more than what the actual delivery cost, or some people would give you half, some people would give you near there. It just really depends on the customer. Some people don't tip. Not everyone tips. Okay, so when you go to a restaurant, especially the bougie fancy restaurants, just scan the area and find a place that you could stand without getting in anyone's way, because people are dining. They don't want you to be standing over them. You know, they're paying a lot of money to eat there, to dine there, and I'm guessing they're there because they love the food, or a lot of people choose bougie restaurants too because it's very private, it's intimate, no one gets in their face and so forth. So you'll defy the purpose of all that if you just do exactly what I said not to do. Sometimes Postmates, their mapping system isn't the best. So when I'm taking too long to find a place on using their map, I would usually just go to Google Maps. It's much easier. Google is much more accurate, has more features and so forth. So don't waste your time struggling with the Postmate map. Just use the Google app to find an address. Now, very important, if you get an order that is extremely far away, especially in a busy city, I would really want to say don't take that order. Never. I don't like using the word never, but don't take that order. There's always an issue. In busy cities, Postmates are everywhere. Why would they skip everybody, skip all those Postmates in close proximity to that restaurant to get you? There must be an issue at that restaurant. Either that restaurant is like the restaurant that I mentioned before, they're not serving customers who are using Postmates to pick up their orders. There's just an issue, and I've learned that. So like, just I think it was Saturday night, I was out there and I got an order from a restaurant. I was like 30 blocks away, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that, because there's obviously an issue. You're telling me in Manhattan, where it's lit all the time. People are on the road all the time, and it was early. It was like maybe after 9 minutes to 10, and they can't find one Postmate within 30 blocks. Something was wrong, so I did not take that order. Now that's my list for today. I will be doing more Postmates videos for you guys because I know that people really want to know these things. And as I said, a lot of the videos that I've watched prior, they didn't mention a lot of things that I just mentioned in my video. So I'll be composing like a Postmates playlist because I'll be doing more Postmate videos. And if you're new to Postmates and you want to sign up, there is a link for you to sign up in my description box down below. And if you have any questions, any at all, don't hesitate to ask. Sometimes I take long to respond to my comments because it can be overwhelming to respond to comments when persons like comment, because I have so many YouTube channels. I have a life outside of YouTube, so sometimes maybe I won't respond until like weeks after, literally, but I always respond. Fortunately, thanks to other viewers, persons would comment and answer a person's question. Like if I see that someone has answered your question, I won't respond to the comment because your question has been answered. So that's all for now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.